Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where tonight it is a special event here in Memorial Day weekend that is coming up here, which is the prelude to tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. That's just a mere 24 hours away. It is the 2025 running of the Indiana Bash. This is basically our way of celebrating not just Indy 250 weekend, but also celebrating probably one of the biggest race weekends that we're ever going to have anywhere else. Because obviously in real life, you got the Monaco Grand Prix coming up here. You've got the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, and then the Coca-Cola 600 following the Indianapolis 500. So we have a lot of good racing coming up this weekend. But also, as far as the NR 2003 neck of the woods, we've got a lot happening. And this is one of those events that's going to happen right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And basically, the field for this year's race is going to consist of drivers that competed last year and all the way back in 2022. So, and also previous winners of the Indiana Bash as well, compiled in with a decent amount of Pepsi Cup Series drivers, whether part-time or just previous Pepsi Cup Series drivers, past or present Cup drivers, that is, to be more specific, that are also going to be taking part in tonight's race, but also in tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. So they will have to travel back to Charlotte here after this race concludes. But as you can see, it is Sam Oskin who sits on the pole position for this race. Mary Davis is going to line up alongside. Then Ava Murray, Edson Hernandez, that is row number 2. Addison Jarrell, William Brock, they make up row number 3. Zoe Summer, Ryan Durrani make up row number 4. Ludovic Charette, Neil Zonka, row number 5. That completes your top 10. Nia Steidel, Elijah Gordon, they line up in row number 6. And it's Mike Manford, Audra Baranowskis in row number 7. Josh Williamson, Emily Anderson, they make up the 8th row. Roberto Crown Jr., Travis Crampton, row 9. And then Sammy Cars and Bobby Smithfield, they round out your top 20. The rest of your starting lineup goes as follows. It's Owen Crafton, who wound up winning the 2022 edition of not the Pumpkin 250, but the Indiana Bash. Pumpkin 250 is just a little ways away from now. Then it's John Stewart, Dale Johnson II, C.G. Holt, Jordan Watt, Josh Harmon, B.B. Hange, Wyatt Walker. And then we have Sebastian Palmer, Russell Blaze, Janiah Hill, Josh Christian, Bobby McGuire, Alex Bonsignor, Timo Mosser, Reggie Fogelman, Lucian Bianchi, Nathan Stapleton, Casey Wells, Jordan Sumner, Mitchell Hodak, and Shauna Martin. Those are the drivers that will compete here in this 42 truck field here for tonight's running of the Indiana Bash. We've had a lot of great races here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, especially when it comes to the Bash. We started racing we started this event back in 2020. It has been a pretty good stable for the stock car side of the Indy 250 weekend. And then we didn't really run this in 2021. We picked it back up in 2022. That saw Owen Crafton go on to take the victory there. And then we didn't run this again in 23, but then it again last year. And if I remember correctly, I can't even remember exactly who won last year, but chances are they're going to be in this race. So who will win the 2025 edition of the Indiana Bash? Drivers strapped into their trucks. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up. But in order to get these 40... We had to get the command to fire the engines, and there it is. And I was a little too slow there, but you know what? It's fine. We still got the command nonetheless. Engines are fired. Pace truck is rolling off, and so are these 42 drivers. So now the question will arise again, who will win the 2025 edition of the Indiana Bash, powered by Clan 11? Going to be a very interesting night here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You know, last year we wound up seeing a good half of this race go green flag, go under green, and then the caution came out right around lap 22. And then from then on, and then from that point on, pretty much, you know, we still had some good racing, but also we had a couple cautions here and there. So we'll just have to wait and see what this year's Indiana Bash brings. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to take place here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And just to see exactly who won the previous Indiana Bash. If I do remember correctly, it might have been Duncan Ward, possibly. But we'll just have to find out. It was Duncan Ward, by the way. But nonetheless, we'll just have to wait and see what this edition of the Indiana Bash brings as Pace Truck heads to pit road. Sam and Oskin and Mary Davis, they're on the front row, and they're going to bring us down to the green flag, and the 2025 Indiana Bash is underway. Three trucks break out single file. Heading back into the third corner, that would be Oskin, Davis, and then the 18 machine, that would be Avon Murray. Then back up in the back up over here in this fourth position, that is Addison Jarrell here in this number 66. Back to the stripe they go. And Oskin is going to lead lap number 1. Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here comes Davis. I thought Davis was going to have a run to the inside, and I thought Murray was going to try to get around her. And here he comes. Underneath of the 13 of Mary Davis, move this number 18 up into the second position. Little ways back there in that fifth spot, there's Ladovic Charette. There's Nia Steidel in the number 2. And then the 02 machine, that is Mike Manfer. And whoa, a little bit of close call right there between Mary Davis and Ladovic Charette. Charette almost turned the 13 down to the inside there through 3 and 4, but thankfully they keep it straight. But that's going to end up stacking up everybody else back here, but just a little bit, but not a whole lot. What that also allowed was the top 3 to also check out there for at least probably about 0.4 of a second between third and fourth place, but that gap is gonna get closed up here in a hurry as Mary Davis pulls up to the back bumper of the 04 of Sam Oskin, who lost the lead to Avon Murray. And that sees Oskin slip back to third as he also lost second to Addison Jarrell just a few moments ago. So all these trucks start to get into single file formation here in the early stages of the Indiana Bash. Here comes Addison Jarrell down to the inside to try to take over this race lead. And the 13 of Mary Davis is going to try to follow to take third away from Sam Oskin. Maybe 2 birds with 1 stone on the part of Davis as she moves back up into second. Nia Steidel moving up into third, followed by the 02 of Mike Manford, and I believe that is the 12 of Josh Williamson, moving his way up inside of the top 5 here very shortly once he's able to get around Avon Murray. Also, you have the number 9 machine. That would be Sammy Cars. Cars now moving up inside of the top 10. Also, you got the 22. That would be Emily Anderson. And caution is already on the racetrack. Race back to the line. That was won by Addison Jarrell, but a lot of damage to the front end of the 24 machine. And there's Wyatt Walker in the 99. A moderate amount of damage to his truck. Reggie Fogelman in the 52 machine. I believe he wound up getting the worst end of that one because he is already on pit road. So that truck was not able to run in order for him to drive it back to pit road. Unlike the 24 machine, that would be Josh Harmon. Harmon, I believe, is going to take his truck behind the wall. So looks like, judging by the skid marks, we ended up having a crash on the back straightaway. Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it is Addison Jarrell who leads the charge here in the 2025 running of the Indiana Bash. So let's go back and review what happened that brought out our first caution flag of the evening here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that involved Josh Harmon on the 24, Wyatt Walker in the 99, as well as Reggie Fogelman in the 52 machine. Oh, this might have involved actually a little bit more drivers than just them. So, if we look at this replay following along with Reggie Fogelman, looks like that outside line checks up quite a bit, and everybody's just driving in way too hard. The 52 of Fogelman gets into the 16, who then gets down into Wyatt Walker. And I do stand corrected, by the way, the 99, that is Nathan Stapleton. So I do want to apologize for that little error there. Look at Stapleton getting a little bit of damage there on the right front fender of his truck. And that 52 just goes spinning around. And there is where Fogelman had to teleport to pit road. He got knocked on his lid. And Josh Harmon in that 24 was able to drive it back to pit road, but he is not as fortunate to continue in this race. I don't believe Fogelman's going to be able to continue either, but I'd be shocked if he did. I would be very, very shocked if he was able to continue on here in this race. So let's go back and look at this in real time. That outside line is going to check up as Fogelman just drives it in, gets into Wyatt Walker, then bounces off of the 23. And then it's on from there. Everybody else manages to get by Fogelman perfectly fine, other than Stapleton and Harmon, who had a little bit of difficulty, but that's just rather unfortunate there for those drivers in particular. Harmon's going to be retired from this race early, and as for Reggie Fogelman, I believe it might be game over here for this number 52 machine. He is still sitting on pit road as of right now, but I wouldn't 100% count on him coming back out on the race. I wouldn't 100% count on him coming back out on the racetrack just yet. And again, I might be proven wrong. He is still sitting in the pit area as of right now. But the only retiree as of right now, that is the 24 of Josh Harmon. Nathan Stapleton is making his way back out on the racetrack right now as we currently speak. Just barely on the tail end of the lead lap as of right now, but he is going to rejoin the field as we are working our first yellow flag of the night here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is our prelude to tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600 for the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. That will take place at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Twitch. And the starting lineup has been set via points because I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to really do qualifying tomorrow morning, because chances are I might wake up a little bit later than what I want. So, starting lineup has been set via points, and the 6 drivers that will move on into tomorrow night's show, you'll see those drivers if you are in the WRLA Discord. This will also premiere on YouTube as well. So if you are in the WRLA Discord, be sure to keep an eye on that on the starting lineup when that gets released, as well. More specifically, as far as where those six drivers are and where they will be starting in tomorrow night's show. So it's gonna be a good one, and hopefully you guys enjoy the Coke 600 better than what the North Wilkesboro race was, because that race started out really well. It was very clean for the most part, and then all hell just pretty much broke loose, and unfortunately we weren't able to recover from that one. 17 cars finished the race, and pretty much the only one that finished on the lead lap, or three cars I think finished on the lead lap, and that saw Emily Anderson on top of that get her first win of the season, and also the historic third career win that ties her with Emmanuel Hartnett for the most winningest driver in WRLA history. Still working our first caution. I do believe they might have waved off the one to go because there could potentially be a little bit of extra debris that might have been missed. So looks like they might get the NR 2003 invisible crew out here to try to get the invisible debris, and we should be good to go to get back racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've got a lot of things that are happening here. I mean, of course, by the time that this replay premieres on YouTube, over on AG, the channels side of things, you know, they've got the prelude to their Indianapolis 250. They've got the Freedom 100 that will be taking place tomorrow night, or the Freedom 50, excuse me, that will be taking place tomorrow night. They've also got the Coca-Cola 600 that'll also be taking place tomorrow evening as well. And then Saturday, they've got their Indianapolis 250 for the Haas IndyCar Series. And if for those of you that may not know the Indianapolis 250 and never have seen it before, I would highly recommend that you go watch the Indianapolis 250 this weekend, this Saturday, because the Indy 250 is always a barn burner, if anything. Whether if it comes down to pit strategy, whether if the finish comes down to pit strategy, whether if it comes down to a sprint to the finish, whether if it comes down to who has the faster and better handling car, there's a lot of things that can happen in this Saturday's Indy 250 that can really change and rewrite history, if you will, you know, when it comes to the NR 2003 history books. And I tell you what, there's so much to look forward to when it comes to this time of year. And I can definitely tell you that Alex and Matt Tuck and everybody else, Caleb Rose as well, they do a fantastic job, you know, putting everything together and calling these races. And definitely a big props to them. They definitely do a fantastic job. So as you just saw there, two things. These drivers are going to go back racing this time by, and Reggie Fogelman has taken his truck behind the wall. So we have two retirees and everybody's on the lead lap. So there's only 40 trucks on the racetrack, and we're going to restart on lap number 9 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Your top 10 is going to go as follows. It is Addison Jarrell, the race leader. Then running in second, that is Mary Davis. Then third, that it would be Nia Seidel. Mike Manford is currently fourth. Then in fifth, that would be Josh Williamson. Avon Murray is in the 6th position. Running in 7th, that is Sammy Cars. Emily Anderson in 8th. Sam Oskin 9th. And Ludovic Charette completes the top 10 as we're getting ready to go back racing on lap number 9. Field works their way through turn number 4. And we'll be ready to go to get back racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Pace truck is off. It will be in single file formation. Let's see how this restart's going to pan out. Addison Jarrell is going to lead him back to the green flag to get this race restarted. Indiana Bash back underway. Everybody stayed pretty even there as far as the top 6 are concerned, but 7th place didn't get off to as good of a start as everybody else did. That would be Sammy Cars as he starts to break away from 8th on back, but can't quite pull up to 6th on forward, at least for the moment, but he has drafted back up to the 18 machine. But here comes Nia Steidel and also Josh Williamson down to the inside. How about Sammy Cars looking to follow as they make a double file behind Addison Jarrell? How about this, though, for Jarrell, though? She is the 2021 Arcom Pepsi Amateur Series champion. She tried to make the Daytona 500 earlier this year. Unfortunately, was not able to complete that task, but she is leading here at the Indiana Bash by almost a half a second. They're 3 wide up here at the front. That's Williamson getting underneath of both Steidel and Davis, but they make it work somehow. Williamson moves up to 2nd, and here comes Sammy Cars as they're all gonna fight it out behind Jarrell. But don't look now. Here comes the number 47 machine. That is Roberto Crown Jr., one of the few drivers that are competing in this race that will also be a part of tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. He's up in the frame as he's now going to send it almost 3 wide, coming off of 4, heading down the front straightaway. You also have the 92 machine. That would be Audra Baranowskis, a former Pepsi Cup Series driver. Her last season was back in 2023. But now running here in this Indiana Bash here with 10 laps complete. Addison Jarrell leading the charge. Everybody's gone single file up here at the front of the field as they have pretty much caught Jarrell. That would be Sammy Cars in that 2nd position, who's going to try to chase down the 66 here for the top position. The front 4 are all Toyotas right now, and the highest running Dodge is Ludovic Charette in the 1. Charette going to try to make a run down to the inside of Emily Anderson as they hit the front straightaway across the yard of bricks, then side by side here for, looks like that's the 6th position as Baranowski is going to get underneath of the 47. Oh, a little bit of close call there. That is Ryan Durrani on the 14. His cars in the Pepsi Cup Series have been on fire as of lately. They brought a lot of speed. Unfortunately, North Wilkesboro was not on their side, but they're looking to turn all that around once we go to Charlotte tomorrow night. Down to the inside goes the 9 of Sammy Cars, but he wasn't able to get that run complete underneath of the 66, and Jarrell, with an incredibly strong piece of machinery, is going to check out from Sammy Cars. They're both going to check out from Emily Anderson and Josh Williamson, who are fighting for 3rd. And Audra Baranowskis could make it 3 wide as they come off of the front straightaway and off of turn 1. And he's got to just barely force that door a little bit wide open. As they head down the back straightaway, it is still Jarrell leading the way. Sammy Cars in that 2nd spot. Here comes Durrani down to the inside of Audra Baranowskis as they head back into turn 3. Not able to make that run work, and he's going to still stay glued to the back bumper of that 92, or at least looking back at the back bumper of the 92 there. Sam and Oskin almost coming really close to colliding with that outside wall coming off of turn number 4. That's trying to play a little bit of defense on Ludovic Charette and Nia Steidel, who's got her hands full with Josh Williamson to her outside. Here comes also, you got the 29 machine. That is Neil Zonka, who competed in last year's Indiana Bash. Up here in that this 10th position, holding on to the top 10 spot right now. And you have the 77. This is Janiyah Hill making a run down to the inside of Josh Williamson. She's also another driver that will be competing in tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. But tonight she is putting on a show here, trying to get around this number 12 of Josh Williamson. Meanwhile, bottom of your screen, fight for the lead is on. Here comes Cars underneath of Jarrell for the top spot. And Cars is going to take it away. Coming off of turn number 1, back into 2. Baranowskis gets moved up into second. How about Ryan Durrani into the 3rd position? And Emily Anderson in the 4th spot. Jarrell starting to drop back like a rock, as now she falls into the clutches of Charette and Steidel. Coming to complete 15 laps this time by, it is now Sammy Cars in command of the 2025 Indiana Bash. Then it's Baranowskis in the 2nd position and Ryan Durrani in 3rd. Slow car coming up ahead. That would be the 99 of Nathan Stapleton with a good amount of damage to his race machine. 157 miles into turn number 1 versus 170 heading into the first corner. But Baranowskis, as you saw right there, took the race lead away pretty easily from the number 9 of Sammy Cars. But now here they come on Nathan Stapleton. Oh, they all had to check up there because they had no idea where to go. But Baranowskis and everybody else is going to manage to get to the inside of the 99. But now this means a potential stack-up effect is about to happen up here, as they're all going to get held up by Nathan Stapleton at one point or another. And as they race off of turn number 4 back across the finish line, start-finish line, this time by 16 laps complete, 4 laps away from halfway. Here in the 2025 Indiana Bash, it is Audra Baranowskis who leads the charge. Ryan Durrani in 2nd. Emily Anderson in 3rd. Nia Steidel 4th. Samet Oskin completes the top 5. Then it's the 66 machine. I believe that would be, that is Addison Jarrell. Then it's Neil Zonka in 7th. Williamson in 8th. The 63, I would believe that is Jordan Sumner. She is 9th right now, and Janiyah Hill is currently shown, as you can see right there, inside of the top 10. Baranowskis, as she checks out, it looked like that Samet Oskin was trying to get a run on the 2 of Steidel, but that wasn't working, so he ended up backing up, and now he falls into the clutches of Addison Jarrell, making it look easy as she gets to the inside of the 04. But now Williamson is going to get to the inside of Addison Jarrell as they come off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. But that run is going to go over to Addison Jarrell. A big advantage for her as she heads back into the first corner. And we'll hold on to that 5th position. Zonka to the inside of Jordan Sumner. And then a fight is on here for this 10th spot. You got Samet Oskin with Janiyah Hill to his inside. And then a fight back there between Roberto Crown Jr. and Sammy Cars. They're duking it out there for the 11th position. Give it over to Crown as they come off of turn number 1, heading back into turn 2. And how about this right here? This is Edson Hernandez. Hernandez ended up competing in the McDonald's Cup Series last year. He won at Darlington and had a good, consistent points lead for a good chunk of the season before losing it to John Andrews, who later went on to win the championship in a dominating fashion. But Hernandez this year competing in the Indiana Bash, and so far doing a very nice job trying to knock on the door of the top 10. He's got to pick up at least a couple more spots before he can get to that point. Another truck coming up just ahead. That would be the 23 machine. That is Josh Christian. Is up front. Durrani to the inside of Baranowskis to take over the lead. Emily Anderson moving up into 2nd. And possibly going to try to get 2 birds with 1 stone here as they race off of turn number 2. Baranowskis and as well as the 66 of Jarrell, they were rubbing doors there as they came off of turn number 2 for a minute. Williamson waiting in the wings just in case if anything happens, but he's stuck up on the outside as Neil Zonka drives low on the number 12 machine. Meanwhile, Race for the lead is on as we are coming to the halfway mark here in the Indiana Bash. Ryan Durrani, who owns his own team in the WLA Pepsi Cup Series, he leads the charge. At the halfway mark, Emily Anderson in the second position, and they've checked out from Audra Baranowskis, who retains third by 0.6 of a second. And meanwhile, down to the inside, here comes the number 22 of Emily Anderson for the race lead. She won last week at North Wilkesboro, trying to score another checkered flag before the Coca-Cola 600. Wasn't able to complete the pass there, but now falls right back into second and could fall back into the clutches of Audra Baranowskis as they race off of turn number 4. And they get ever so closer to that slower truck of Josh Christian. Anderson going to try it again as they head back into turn 1, but this attempt is going to be a little bit more successful, as Anderson is going to clear Durrani for the race lead as they circle through turn number 2. Durrani slipping back like a rock there on that outside. He lost a good amount of ground, lost 3 positions, so he falls back to 4th into the clutches of Nia Steidel here as they're going to battle it out for this 4th spot. Durrani trying to hang tough on the outside, but it is Steidel with the preferred line. And you also got good friend Janiyah Hill in the 77 up here. They were running nose to tail for a minute, and I thought Hill was going to say, screw you, Nia, and force it 3 wide. That would have been a very interesting conversation in a Discord call, if you will, but that's going to happen right now because here comes Hill to the inside of Steidel. They're going to fight it out for this 5th position, and textbook pass there for Janiyah Hill. She takes the spot away from Steidel, and Steidel's in trouble as she's trapped on the outside. She falls back to 7th and is going to be under fire from Edson Hernandez as they head back into 3. You also have the 08 of Jordan Watt up here as well, moving up inside of the top 10. But here they come on Josh Christian. Where are these leaders going to wound up going? Ooh, Anderson looking to the inside. Christian trying to stay up out of harm's way, and so far making it easy for Emily Anderson. But life a living hell for Neil Zonka. But not for too much longer because Zonka slips back to 3rd, but so far pretty good. Williamson bounces off the wall coming off of turn number 2, but he keeps on trucking, no pun intended. And here comes Zonka to the inside for 2nd on Audra Baranowskis. That's going to allow Emily Anderson to check out there for a split moment, at least by about 1/3 of a second, but they're going to pull right back up to the back bumper of the 22 here very shortly. Once they come across the stripe, it'll be 16 laps remaining here in the 2025 Indiana Bash. Emily Anderson with a lot of momentum on her side after winning at North Wilkesboro last weekend. She's your race leader and trying to gain a little bit more momentum before tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. Baranowskis right there in 2nd, trying to fend off Neil Zonka, who really is hungry for this 2nd spot. Janiyah Hill and Nia Steidel, 4th and 5th right now. The 2 buddies, the 2 besties right now, 4th and 5th. And Steidel might repay the favor here as they head back through turn number 4. But I think Steidel's going to be a little bit more patient, or will she, as she heads down to the inside of Janiyah Hill. And they're double file here for this 2nd position. Look at Emily Anderson with this huge gap, a half a second advantage over Audra Baranowskis. But now she's going to lose that position to Neil Zonka. And Steidel's going to move up to 3rd as that outside line is going to start falling back like a rock as they race off of turn number 2. Anderson with a big arc heading into the first corner there And oh, I thought we were going to see 3 wide go wrong there between Zonka, Steidl, and Cars. But thankfully, they keep it together. We continue to stay green, at least for another lap longer. Steidl is going to make a run to the inside of Neil Zonka for the second position. Wasn't able to get that good fire off into turn number 1. So she's going to stay glued to the back bumper of this 29 temporarily. But they race off of turn number 2. And look at this. Everybody back over here, they're starting to race pretty hard. There's Timu Mosser in the number 10 getting underneath of Janiyah Hill. This would be, looks like that's the fight for, I want to say that's the 10th position. So move the number 10 of Mosser inside of the top 10. Closing in on 13 laps to go here in the Indiana Bash. And the caution is out. Wait a minute. Yellow is out on the racetrack. Emily Anderson's going to lead him back down to the caution with 13 laps to go. I saw the 75 of Bobby Smithfield on pit road. Looks like we had a big crash on the back straightaway. There's the 30 machine of Wyatt Walker making his way onto pit road. It looks like actually, yeah, if you look very closely, he has a small buckle on the hood of his number 30 Toyota Tundra, but it looks like he's going to be all right. Another truck on pit road. That's Mary Davis in the 13. Oh, that's a shame. The couple was involved in this one. And obviously, as we just saw a little bit ago, that is Bobby Smithfield. That 75 truck is heavily damaged. Mary Davis is going to pull her truck behind the wall. And Wyatt Walker looks like he might continue here in this race. But your race leader as of right now, it is Emily Anderson in the number 22, trying to secure a checkered flag before tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. The question is, are these drivers going to make a pit stop? I don't recall that happening in last year's or 2022's. Those are the only 2 races that currently have footage existing footage. 2020, there was a race, but that unfortunately was deleted. It was on another person's channel. Oh, that's a shame. 33 machine. I believe that is Alex Bonsignor and Josh Williamson, who ended up hitting the wall a couple laps ago. Both of these trucks are heavily damaged. Bonsignor has just had an abysmal year so far. His night is done. Not the way he wanted to end things off, and not the way he wanted to take the trip to the airport to head on down to Charlotte, but that's unfortunately the way the ball rolls. But we're under caution for the second time here tonight. Let's take a look and see what happened to these drivers that brought out our second yellow flag of the evening here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was a crash on the back straightaway, and it looks like it definitely played out a little similar to what we saw earlier in the race. Following along here with the number 31, this is Sebastian Palmer in the 31. It looks like the 88 machine sends it in, and Williamson looks like he was trying to check up so he could actually make the corner, and Palmer gets into the left rear of the 12, comes down into the 15. That is Skylar Taylor, and that number 12 ricochets off the outside wall and back up into traffic, and it is on. Walker and Davis get collected in this one. And then Alex Bonsignor, I do believe he winds up rear-ending. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. William Brock gets involved, and yes, I was about to say that Bonsignor does end up rear-ending William Brock, and then hits the 75, which sends Smithfield upside down, similar to what happened to Reggie Fogelman when the first caution flag came out. But that is rather unfortunate to see here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2 flips that happened on the back straightaway. And both of them which is honestly going to be very interesting to see how the finish of this race plays out. As we're going to look at this in full speed. That's Mitchell Hodak on the bottom. But the wreck happens between Palmer and Williamson. And then look at this, the small little hit. That hit, actually, that Bonsignor gave to Bobby Smithfield, that was a small hit. So I'm actually really surprised that was enough to send him over. But nonetheless, it is very unfortunate, and I do believe Bobby Smithfield is going to be out of this race. Mary Davis has also pulled her truck behind the wall. And Wyatt Walker managed to nurse this truck back to pit road, and currently is has gotten the damage assessed, and he is back out on the racetrack as we currently speak. Catching up to the tail end of the field, Alex Bonsignor has taken his truck behind the wall, as has Josh Williamson. They will join Mary Davis, Reggie Fogelman, and the 24 of Josh Harmon behind the wall with just 12, now 11 and a half laps to go here in this 2025 Indiana Bash here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is Emily Anderson who leads the charge, followed by Neil Zonka in second, Nia Steidel in third. Then it's Jordan Watt in fourth. But in the fifth position, that would be Sammy Cars, Audra Baranowskis in sixth, Ryan Durrani in seventh, Edson Hernandez eighth, Timo Mosser in ninth, and the 66 machine of Addison Jarrell completes the top 10. Coming up to 11 laps to go, and I'm not sure if we might get one to go this time by. So let's see what happens as the field comes off of turn number 4. So far, the racing that we're seeing here tonight is definitely a lot better than what we saw last Saturday at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, at least from the third caution onward. So far here in this race, we've only had 2 yellow flags. So looks like we're going to actually be under yellow for yet another lap. And we'll probably get one to go once we hit 10 laps to go. So once we get one to go for 10 to go on, it'll be a single file restart. So any driver that is a lap down or more, they would not have an opportunity to get back on the lead lap. So as for Nathan Stapleton, you know, he's restarting all the way in the back end of the field. And as for Josh Christian, he would have an opportunity to get one of his laps back. But as far as an opportunity to get back on the lead lap, that has since then vanished for this 23. So unfortunately, he would finish in the 36th position, 2 laps down. But as for everybody else, they will restart single file. All the drivers will restart single file, regardless if you're a lap down or at the tail end of the lead lap. It should be very interesting. See how the rest of this race plays out and how all these drivers are going to take the finish of this one here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's been a really fun Indiana Bash, and we want to thank you guys so much for watching this race, whether if you're watching this live on Twitch or watching the full race premiere over on YouTube. Just as a reminder, just in case for those who are watching on YouTube, you will see the Coca-Cola 600 tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. So once this race concludes and 8:30 rolls around, be sure to head on over to twitch.tv/11 for the running of the 11th race of the WLA Pepsi Cup Series, the Coca-Cola 600. The link to that channel will be in the description. One to go has been given, and they will restart with 9 laps to go here in the 2025 Indiana Bash. Just to recap, the top 10, it is Emily Anderson, the race leader. Then in second is Neil Zonka. Then running in third, that would be Nia Steidel. Jordan Watt sits in fourth. Then in the fifth position, that is Sammy Cars. Audrey Baranowskis in sixth. Ryan Durrani seventh. Edson Hernandez eighth. Then in ninth, that is Timo Mosser. And Addison Jarrell rounds out the top 10. It's going to be a 9-lap sprint to the finish to close out this Indiana Bash. Last year's race and the year before that finished under caution. Will this race finish under yellow flag conditions, or will we see a green flag finish? That's the hope. As far as I can remember, every single Indiana Bash from 2020 onward finished under caution. The hope is here that we won't have to worry about this race finishing under yellow, and hopefully it does finish under green flag conditions, but we're about to find out if that is going to be the case when we take 9 laps to go onward. Field comes off of turn number 4. It is Emily Anderson who leads the charge. She won at North Wilkesboro last Saturday for the Pepsi Cup Series. She's trying to gain a little bit more momentum by winning this race en route to tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. She gets a really good restart here with 9 laps to go. Watt to the inside of Christian to try to get him up and out of the way. Audrey Baranowskis making a charge on Sammy Cars. That would be the battle for the 5th position. And Nia Steidel all over the back bumper of the 29 of Zonka as they hit turn 2. Jordan Watt trying to get to the inside of Steidel. Not able to do so here. Now tries it again going into turn number 3. And here comes Neil Zonka to the inside of Emily Anderson for the top position as they race off of turn 4. They're getting a little bit antsy up here. A little sketchy double file. Potentially 3 wide as they race off of turn number 4. But they stay side by side here for just a second, as Zonka's going to lead that lap over Emily Anderson by 1/100th of a second, heading back into the first corner. Jordan Watt now moves up into second with Baranowskis third, Durrani in fourth, and Edson Hernandez completing the top 5. So Emily Anderson falls back to 6th, but she is not out of this one yet. Baranowskis, who's probably had one of the toughest trucks all night long. And when I say tough, I mean she has been up here all night. She's been running up towards the front end of the field. She's been aggressive, and she has made it work here. The multi-time Indy 250 winner, showing what it takes to win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It doesn't matter what you get behind the wheel of. She moves up to 3rd, and here comes Jordan Watt to the inside for the race lead on Neil Zonka. And easily is going to get that top position. And oh man, a little bit of contact there between Zonka and Baranowskis. Literally using the 29 as a brake there, as Baranowskis sent it into turn number 2, and she's going to get the 2nd spot because of that, heading into the 3rd corner. Thought they were going to go 3 wide back over here, but so far they kept it clean and green. And how about this? Travis Crampton in the 5. We have not talked about him all day long, and now here he is up here just outside of the top 10. Looking to try to get a good finish here for tonight's race. We'll be taking 5 to go next time by. It is still Jordan Watt leading the charge, followed by Baranowskis in the 2nd position and Edson Hernandez in 3rd. It is a 3-truck breakaway, but Hernandez is getting a little greedy. Wants the 2nd position. He gets to the inside. Now the question is he going to be able to complete this pass coming off of turn number 4. And it looks like that might be the case as they race off of turn 4. Back across the stripe this time by, I stand corrected when I say that, advantage Baranowskis with 5 to go. But I think the advantage this time is going to go to Hernandez as he moves up into the second spot. And Zonka getting a little bit antsy there. Trying to get around this number 46 of Hernandez, and Zonka trying to get back up to this race lead and try to challenge Jordan Watt for the win. Durrani right there in tow. Emily Anderson trying to get back into the picture, and here comes Samet Oskin, who started on the pole for this race, trying to finish this where he started, but he's got 4 more laps in order to close out the deal. Zonka and Durrani currently using the draft to their advantage as of right now. And they're going to pull up to the back bumper of this 08. But Durrani is looking a little bit edgy right here. And he's looking a little hungry as well. Durrani looking all over the back bumper of this number 29. And he's going to duck to the inside heading into the third corner to try to take second. And while all that's happening, not Duncan Ward, but Jordan Watt is loving everything that he sees in his rearview mirror as of right now, but they all have to check up there going through turn number 4. That's about a half a second advantage that this 08 has on these leaders right here with 3 to go. Durrani successfully gets to the inside and will take over the second spot, and Travis Crampton moving up inside of the top 5 up to 3rd as they race off of turn number 2. Couple of slower trucks heading into turn number 3. They may not be a factor here, but Jordan Watt still continues to lead. Durrani in second, Travis Crampton in third, Emily Anderson back into the picture in 4th, and Jordan Sumner entering the conversation as fight is on here for second. Durrani gets a better drive off of turn number 4, and this might put Crampton in trouble here because here comes Emily Anderson on the outside, and Jordan Sumner going to try to maybe make it 3 abreast as they head into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Jordan Watt, it doesn't matter what flag he sees at this point. He just wants this race to end. But here he comes. He's going to get around everybody on the outside. He gets around Brock and Walker on the outside. And that holds everybody up. And that stacks them up as well. And Jordan Watt, and they're crashing. They're wrecking because of it. Caution is out. The race is over. That is everybody caught up. And Jordan Watt had the easiest walk-off of his life. They're still wrecking on the front straightaway. Jarrell with more damage. Samet Oskin caught up. There's the 62 machine. That's Bobby McGuire. What in the world did we just witness? For the third consecutive, I'd say actually for the 4th consecutive, ladies and gentlemen, all I did was I moved my leg, but nonetheless, this is the 4th straight Indiana bash that is going to finish under caution, yellow flag conditions, and it happens in the craziest way I think I've ever seen it happen. Jordan Watt gets around Walker and Brock, who were slow on the around the outside. It stacked everybody up, and that gave Jordan Watt, in my honest opinion, the easiest walk-off win of his entire NR racing career. Checkered flag is out, and it is Jordan Watt who wins the 2025 Indiana Bash from here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Travis Crampton is going to come home in second. The 29 of Neil Zonka in third. Emily Anderson fourth. Audra Baranowskis rounds out the top five. Then it is CG Halt finishing in the sixth position. Janiyah Hill comes home in seventh. In truck number 77, the 59 machine of Zoe Summer in eighth. Sammy Carr's ninth, and Casey Wells, actually. I thought this was Skylar Taylor, but no, this is Casey Wells. She completes your top 10 here in the 2025 Indiana Bash. What in the world did we just witness? What in the world did we just witness? Before we review the rest of the results, let's go back and look at what happened that brought out our final caution of the race. Oh, that was just absolutely criminal of what just happened. Absolutely criminal of what just happened. On the coming to the white flag here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're gonna follow along with William Brock on this one because he was the first truck I wound up seeing going around. This is all because everybody was held up by the 30 and the 6, and it looks like William Brock was trying to get up in front of Durrani, and he was just simply was not clear, and it's on right here. Walker goes around. Durrani in the grass, Jordan Sumner gets damaged, and then everybody else gets caught up from this point on. Mike Manfer, Roberto Crown Jr., Bobby McGuire, Nia Steidel, Mitchell Hodak. The 8 machine, I do believe, yeah, that's John Stewart. Elijah Gordon gets caught up in this one. The 4 machine of Owen Crafton gets damaged. Zachary Fitzwater, there's the 16 machine, Dale Johnson the second. The 60, that's Shauna Martin, who wound up starting last. Not a whole lot of damage to her truck, so she wound up finishing with a small amount of damage. But as for everybody else, this was a pretty big crash to close out the Indiana Bash here tonight. Let's look at that one more time and review it at full speed, because this right here was by far just absolutely insane of what winds up happening. I genuinely thought we were going to finish this race under green, but it's because of this that wound up bringing out our final caution. And then right here, Jarrell goes around. There's also the 38 of BB Hange, who got caught up. Sam and Oskin. This is where that's where he got his damage. But my, oh my. Chaos ensuing, coming to the white flag here in the 2025 Indiana Bash, and emerging from it all as your race winner, it is the 08 of Jordan Watt, coming home with the checkered flag in the 2025 Indiana Bash. Big congratulations to the number 08 machine as he wins probably the easiest win, I'd say, of Jordan Watt's life right there. From 11th all the way down, everybody finished, no, everybody all the way down from 11th all the way down to the 24th spot, as well as 26th and 27th. They all finished on the lead lap. Obviously, Nia Steidel ended up retiring from the race, as well as Bobby McGuire, Edson Hernandez, Mike Manfer, Elijah Gordon, and then Wyatt Walker, Nathan Stapleton, Josh Christian. They all finished a lap down or more. But man, oh man, what a night here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. huge congratulations to Jordan Watt on closing out the deal here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we want to thank you guys so much for watching the Indiana Bash, whether if you were watching this live on Twitch or watching the full race premiere over on YouTube. If you guys like this, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss a future stream. If you're watching on YouTube, if you guys like this, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't considered subscribing yet, be sure to hit that sub button in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. Tomorrow night, we'll be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600. Just remember that starting lineup was set. I honestly do not like this mic cable, but nonetheless, just remember those points have been set. The starting lineup has been set via points, which sees Terry Walker leading the field to the green flag. He is your new points leader. We'll review those when we get to the pre-race tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, and the full race premiere will be on the following day, just a few hours after the Indianapolis 250. So, one more time, congratulations to Jordan Watt on securing the win in the 2025 Indiana Bash. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend. We'll enjoy the racing that we're about to see in NR and even in IRL with NASCAR, IndyCar, at Formula One. It's going to be a fun weekend, and it's going to be good. Have yourself a great rest of your night, everybody. Take care, and we will see you all tomorrow night for the WLA Pepsi Cup Series Race 11 at Charlotte. Have a good one, y'all.